Episode 144, Romantic Candlelit Dinner. Dario looked at Jade's curious yet shy cute face and wanted to immediately hold her in his arms. "You'll know what day it is later," Dario said very mysteriously, as if he did not intend to tell her the truth at all. After a while, Jade pouted and finally couldn't help but ask. She felt like otherwise she wouldn't even be able to eat. "Mr. Foster, can't you just tell me?" Dario looked at her tender lips and said lightly, "We've been married for a month. Today is our full month anniversary." "What?" Jade was very surprised when she first heard this answer. Later, she calculated the date carefully. They had indeed been married for a month, but she had never heard of a full month anniversary. What's more, she didn't expect Dario to remember the date more clearly than she did. She was touched. So he cared about the day. Did that imply that he cared about her, too? "Hurry up and eat. Do you want me to feed you?" "No need, Mr. Foster. I can eat it myself." Jade quickly regained her senses and started to use her fork and knife, but she rarely ate steak, so she did not cut it well. Dario carefully cut the steak for her. Besides the steak was a heart-shaped dab of cream sauce. Jade looked at the food on the plate and felt a surge of warmth in her heart. She was still angry with him earlier today, but now she was a little moved. No one had ever spent so much time and effort on her. Jade was immersed in the romantic atmosphere. It was exceptionally dreamlike, as if she were eating with him in a high-class restaurant. This was the first time she was dining with him in such a romantic and warm situation. Perhaps Jade was too happy, she realized. She never liked drinking, but she'd actually taken the initiative to extend her hand to the red wine Dario poured for her. She gently held the glass and smiled at him. There was a rare joy in her eyes. "Thank you for the dinner you prepared for me." Jade had a sweet smile on her face. Dario also picked up his glass and gently touched it to hers. "Cheers!" Jade shouted happily. Dario did not say anything. He took a sip elegantly. Jade watched him swallow and looked at his half-closed dark eyes, his handsome face. Everything about him was so gorgeous that she could not get tired of looking at him, no matter how she looked at him. Even if she did not drink, she felt a little drunk just looking at Dario. Jade carefully held the wine glass. The sweet red wine carried a spiciness as it slid down her throat. The dinner was the longest they had eaten since they'd known each other. They only finished after 8 o'clock. During this time, Jade had taken the initiative to drink with Dario several times in order to thank him. Although the amount of red wine was not very high, it only took Jade a few cups for her face to turn red. Her small, delicate face appeared even more charming. "Are you satisfied with tonight's dinner?" Dario walked to her side and picked up the napkin on the table. He gently wiped the residue from the corner of her mouth. Then he bent over, directly stuck out his tongue, and licked the corner of her lips. Jade was shocked. She sat there blankly and looked at him without moving. She seemed to be at a loss. Before Jade could speak, Dario took her hand and leaned close to her ear. He said to her in his extremely charming voice, "I heard that exercise after meals helps digestion." Jade felt a little shy when she heard the word exercise. She thought to herself that Dario was always teasing her, so she should know that he really just meant exercise. Before Jade could react, Dario actually bent down and extended his hand in front of her in a very gentlemanly manner. "Miss Winslet, I don't know if I've had the honour of inviting you to dance." Dario's face carried a faint smile, and his eyes were full of sincerity. This made Jade a little embarrassed. She shyly withdrew her hands and said awkwardly, "Actually, Mr. Foster, I don't know how to—" Just when she started to say that she did not know how to dance, Dario directly grabbed her hand and pulled her into standing. At the same time, he placed his left hand on her waist and spun her around with his right. At this moment, the music turned into a classic waltz, Blue Danube River. Dario took the opportunity to waltz with her. "I'll teach you." He increased the force on her waist and began to dance with her. Because she did not know how to dance, Jade's body was very stiff at first. But under Dario's lead, she slowly started to dance alongside his footsteps. Dario's black suit and tall figure made him look elegant and noble. Although Jade did not choose her clothes today for any particular reason, she happened to be wearing a red dress. The dress was tight, and the hem was exceptionally graceful. It made her perfect curves look wonderful. They danced along with the rhythm of the music and the candlelight. Daria's powerful face held a smile that could not be seen clearly, leaving her to her endless imagination. When Jade got used to the waltz, Daria began to increase his speed. Soon, with a slight turn, Jade fell naturally into Daria's arms. She was shocked. Her heart could not help beating a little. Daria raised his hand again, and Jade spun around twice before being pulled back into his arms. She raised her left foot high, and one of her hands was pulled by him. The two of them looked at each other with deep affection. For a beginner, this kind of speed was a bit intense. Jade was panting. Along with having just had wine, she was now almost out of strength. She could only lean on Daria's strong arm with soft steps. When the music ended, Daria lowered his eyes and looked at her delicate and slightly parted red lips. He could not help but kiss her. "Mr. Foster." Jade felt that she could not stand steadily and could not help but call his name. Daria held her hand and placed it on his neck. He approached her lips and said gently, "Don't be afraid. Hold me."